Alright, so today we're gonna get better at back tails. So you might figure out what the missing piece is for you on this first explanation, or you gotta wait 20 minutes to fully get a good grasp of back tails. Regardless, we're just gonna be focusing on back tails the whole video. I did one, but let's start with just talking about the posture when you're in the back tail. So first off, I feel, this is my opinion, people are afraid of committing to this stall right here. So before you even try to, whoa, these are rounded ledges, so they're sketchy. Before you even try to pop onto it, I want you to get really comfortable with this feeling of locking in to a back tail, right? An important thing is you want to make sure you're locked in through applying pressure, whoa, on the forefeet, this part of your foot, okay? Not the mid feet, not the heels, but the forefoot, right? You can be here, but you're applying pressure through the forefoot, so the toes and the palm area of the foot, right? Again, not the heel, not the midfoot, not the heels, but the forefeet. Second, be comfortable with kind of moving around this foot as you hold that position, right? You can go wide, make sure you engage the hips, right? Get lower and kind of get a good sense of how you have to hold that tension, right? You're really just holding the tension on that back foot. Now, the top half of your body is slightly opened up to the direction you're gonna go, right? Because you want to make sure you have accessible this direction, right, to go to regular. Because a lot of people who first learn back tails, because they're just relying on the momentum, they do the back tail and they're not holding tension over that right foot. They're centered, because they're not centered over that back tail foot. They just go to fakie without deciding to. So I want you to be comfortable holding this stance, this posture, I guess we can say too, with your body slightly opened up to the direction you're gonna go, right? So again, this is me disengaged through the hips and opening up to the direction I'm going, and that's not what we want. What we want is to be engaged and open up to the direction we're going. Once you have that all figured out, I want you to play around with popping out. You see how I landed on the heel? You guys can pause it and see that. You do not want to be building on top of that habit. So make sure you're in control of how you pop out, because that's the motion you're gonna want when you get out of a back tail. It's a slight, how would I say, like a slight lift through your toes. Now, once all that gets really familiar and confident, and you feel like you can try at least stalling it, I want you to pick a good ledge. It doesn't need to be a street spot. It can be very small, even a sidewalk. You can go here. And I want you to play around with this. All right? You don't even have to commit to the front foot either. Right? The first times. But once you feel comfortable committing and understanding how to shift that weight, just try locking up. Right? You see how my toes are kind of not all the way on there? We want to make sure we improve that. Locking in like this. So once we get that, we're going to move on. Oh, see? Not there. But it's important. This is actually a good lesson. You want to be centered over your foot, even though the board might not follow, because that's how you're going to save yourself. It's kind of hard. I feel like so restricted. Oh, I chose a bad ledge, honestly. All right, let me try one more time. Okay, that's as best as it's going to get. It's like right here. So bad on it. Now, Ryan's laughing at me, so I gotta get it better. Want to be low, That's way better. No, actually no, huh? Okay, well anyways, as I'm doing this, I want you to also understand that so that you can get the solid pop you need, you want to make sure you're engaging the body on that pop so that the board follows you. Because if you stay up here disengaged, you're gonna be doing this. You're gonna be going without the board. So make sure you get low, engage the hips, the core, the whole foot and leg. So when you go for it, it goes up with you. So I'm not gonna get any better than that. It's just a horrible spot. Look, I'm between this guard and that one. Yeah, just I don't know why I did that. But so we got the whole idea about how you want to approach it, a little understanding. You want to engage the hips, and also on how you want to slide and be postured while you're sliding and also land. So we're gonna do 5 back tails, and then I'm gonna speak a little bit more about what I have got going on as far as like improving the back tail, because even though I can do it consistently, I can always improve in terms of sliding the board longer, you know, being more stable while I'm on it, because you know sometimes you can do back tails and you're like whoa, and you land kind of off or unstable. So there's always room for growth, and so I'm gonna do these 5 and then kind of talk about where there's room for growth on these back tails. That was one. I was like hanging on to the tail.
I was like, you couldn't do that in the beginning.
Huh?
I was like, damn, you did it so easy compared to the...
I know, it took me so long to... It's because I needed to warm up to it. And yeah, anyways. 1. 2. So I have already a big factor in mind that might help you choose your ledge a bit more, but I still need to do 3 more.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Oh, we gotta wait. Should I tell you right now?
Yeah.
Nah. Oh, let's go. Oh, I saved that one. Oops. 3. We got 2 more. Now I got 2 things that I just thought of because that one like was hanging off. I was like, the board was like this and my toes were here. Okay. And there's a big reason that I mentioned over there why that happened. Wow, that was the best one yet, huh?
Yeah.
And I kept in mind to improve that factor, which I'll share right now. It's one more. Doesn't mean that it'll happen every time, but definitely increases the chance. That was bad. I popped and it was bad. I'm gonna do 5 lands, okay? Not 5 attempts. 5 lands, 5 lands. There. Alright, cool. So 5. The first one, this ledge specifically is a rounded ledge and it goes downhill. So to be engaged when I'm on it is a bit more, I guess, difficult. But I honestly would like to think about it in terms of just being a little bit more intentional about engaging at the hips when you're on there. Because otherwise, because you're going down, the engagement can get lost as soon as you get on. So that way you're not doing this, right? And something else that can reduce that risk and also get a more stable pop in is just making sure that you're engaged before you even pop, right? Right here. Instead of just being disengaged and straight up and missing the pop. So if you find yourself missing, locking into the ledge, it might just be because, whoa, doing good. Okay. you might just not be engaging right before you pop onto the ledge, right? Or you might be doing that, but then you lose the how do you say, the snap. You're here, but you just kind of jump up without staying engaged. So you can even just practice that feel or have that feeling in mind by doing these kind of ollies where you're close to the board the whole time, right? Instead of doing ollies like this, where you straighten out at the end. You need to do ollies like the first one into this back tail.
You should probably mention to not stay engaged for too long.
Oh yeah, and then another thing too, it's you don't want to be holding so much time under tension when you're rolling into a trick. So actually one of my students yesterday was doing that to do a front 180 over the zero gap. They were like this, like they would push and they'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they would go. And I said, look, you're doing good as far as like opening up and doing all these things, right? And where to land, but you're tiring yourself out and you're taking away energy to what should be given to that snap. You're taking that away by holding so much tension here, right? You tire out your legs a little bit. Now you can get that muscle stronger and it can be done, and there are some skaters to do it, but I've found that it's not the most effective way to go about, you know, using your snap. And so just keep that in mind, reduce that risk. So think about just slowing it down. You don't have to, for example, if you're someone who holds the pop this squatted position like 3-4 seconds before you do the trick, maybe shorten it down to 3.5 and then 3 until it hits like barely 1 second. You go down and then up, right? Instead of doing this, where you go 1, 2, you know, like, it's not to say you can't do it or it's not been done, and it's also like a style preference.
Yeah, there's a lot of
there's a lot of
pro skaters that skate like that,
for sure. But it's also like it can be less effective for you personally. I know it was for me, but because I kind of try to model pro skaters like a Tiago or something, it wasn't serving me the right way. And it may just be because they're stronger and they have more, you know, more power to hold on to for that long, more energy. Think of it as like a video game, you know, like if you use up all your power punches, you can't hold on to it any longer, or like you can't apply the same intention to a very powerful snap. And as we're learning new tricks, it has to be, you know, you're gonna be using more energy than you would for a trick like if you're just doing a backside 50-50, even though it's very similar amounts of pressure or amount of power. It's just because this is a new thing, so it's gonna use up more of your energy mentally and physically. So having said that, we're gonna do 5 more. How much, what time is it?
13.
How much time? 13, okay. We're gonna do 5 more. And then I'm gonna summarize some other things that uncover themselves or unveil. Is it unveil or uncover? What sounds better?
Unveil.
Unveil, there we go. Unveil. We'll see what unveils after these 5 lands. Oh. Wow. Okay, that's something unveiled right there. That was scary. I was like, yeah. This hip went like too fast. That's too powerful. Yeah, so I have something in mind. One thing in belt is tough. One thing. Sometimes only one big lesson is needed to understand a trick. Maybe that's what it was. I wouldn't say something. I think, yeah, something. I got too confident right there. I guess I gave it away already, but I got too confident. I didn't even engage in it. Okay. That's just the crown to the land, though. It's actually a good way to practice. Like, let's say I'm gonna do a trick, film a trick for a nose slide. Just practice nose slides a lot. Get used to that, being stable in that trick. Reps. Reiteration. Two more. Two. Oh, three things. Three things I already unveiled that I can mention. Was that 3 or 4?
Not sure. That's what I was thinking right now.
I think that was 4. Okay, one more. Last one. Oh. Okay, that's 4 things. This is actually a good idea. I think I'm gonna continue to do this.
With the other tricks?
Yeah, like getting better at, and then that kind of series.
Yeah.
Okay, one more. All right, 5. So first thing that unveiled itself was when I was on here on the back tail. Generally, the hip, the side of the hip that you are stabilizing with, right? That side is what wants to be in front, right? Compared to the, how would I say, like the hip. What is this? This hip, the hip that's on the center of the board. Let's just say that, because if this hip comes forward, the momentum most of the time always going to come to fake it, right? So you want to have control of that again. So just like you want to be opened up with your shoulders, you also want to think about opening up a little bit with the hips, right? Instead of being like this. This is gonna have you going to fake it. If you're closed off, or if the hip is over, pretend there's a line here. There's 2 lines. One line, that's where this hip wants to be, and then the line behind it is where my left side wants to be. I hope you guys can understand. You know, because otherwise, you don't want your right hip. Think about this line being the right hip. You don't want that to be back here. Oh my God, back here, and then this left one to be in front of it. You think that makes sense?
I mean, I get it, but I don't know.
Get it? Okay, then they get it for sure. They get it. Basically, you don't want this hip to come in so far, because then you lose the control of going back to regular, and you want to have that access, because if you want to just go to fake it, then that left side of the hip just has to come forward, and the right goes to where you're going. You guys understand. I know you understand. So that's number 1. Number 2, I got too confident. When I popped, I underestimated how much I needed to engage. So it's important you make sure, even as you're skating and just doing the same trick over and over again, you're being more intentional, because you are even fatiguing as you just continue to do this same trick more and more. So you might get a bit careless, and that's where accidents can happen, because you know how to do the tricks, but simply just simply your body fatiguing is gonna cause those things. So just be a bit more intentional in those cases. So that's number 2. Number 3, what came to mind was sometimes I like to switch around from doing a back tail on the tail side to doing a back tail with the nose, because usually noses are a bit bigger, right? They're a bit bigger. Oh wait, this is the nose. Like what? Yeah, this is the nose. So usually noses are a bit bigger, and therefore you can hold a bit more stability onto them, right? So that's just a little, it might feel a bit weird because the trucks are, the weight's a bit different. So just go slower when you switch it, because chances are it's going to be a bit heavier on the truck. I don't know the science about that. Maybe ask like Paul Schmidt or something, Professor Schmidt, about that. But yeah, I like to kind of switch it around just to get a feeling for what a bigger tail would help me with. So that way, if you're shopping around for different boards, you can try different things out, especially if you don't have a board shape that you really want. So that's number 3. Number 4,
20 minutes.
Cool, thank you. Number 4. Damn, I forgot number 4. I got stuck on the whole right and left line. Anyways, we'll do actually we'll end it there because it's already 20 minutes, and I think that was actually really helpful. If you have a trick that you want me to do, I guess this series, I don't want to call it a series, but like a similar video on. So this video is going to be titled most likely is getting better at backtails, right? That's what I said. And so we're probably going to go to different spots, make it a bit interesting. Today was a street spot, maybe next time it'll be a better skate park. We'll see, but comment what trick you would want to see kind of analyzed as I'm doing them, and can't promise you I'll do them because I don't know every trick in the book, but definitely fundamental ones. I definitely encourage you guys to suggest. So having said that, I'll see you in the next video, and latest.